You should know Billie Eilish, and you should really like it because it's good for music. I'm here with a video to help discuss the phenomena that is Billie Eilish and why, even though that might not be the music you like, that this could mean something to you. Billie Eilish has changed the game, and we needed this. Music has been somewhat waiting for someone like this to come in, shake it up, and drastically change the way that we think about music and art itself in the modern age. As someone who is the first year of Gen Z and the last year of a millennial, around that time, it's sometimes interesting to identify with one or the other. But what I've really found is that Gen Z is really changing the way that we think of music. What Gen Z is accomplishing with music is changing what we think of it. And this is a good thing that we needed because honestly, the industry was getting pretty stale. And you may ask yourself, why do I need to know this? I don't listen to that top 40. But what's interesting is there's so much that you can pull from what she has to offer and the music and the lyrical content and the visuals and just the overall art and the concepts that she creates that you can really expand your horizons and find things that you like and also realize that there really isn't much that's different about her in the grand scheme of music creation. First, I'm going to start off by saying that millennial pop stars have been honestly some sort of carbon copy of past stars. Maybe boomer stars, maybe Generation X stars. I don't know exactly what you want to call it, but it seems like there was a lack of creativity with them, that they were still offering pop music and they were doing these things, but they were following along with popular tropes, popular ideas, the different shifts of images, and following the zeitgeist that happens along with pop music. Millennial pop stars have been somewhat really just derivative of past pop stars. We take a look at someone like Miley Cyrus right now, who has done each popular trope. She did the country route, she did the glam route, now she's doing the rocker route. It's all just different ways of being influenced by other artists, which is fantastic, and young people can learn from those influences and trace it back and find all this other amazing music. Like right now, take for example, Miley Cyrus's current theme is the old rocker, taking cues from trailblazers like Stevie Nicks, Joan Jett, Debbie Harry, Madonna. The list honestly goes on. She's taken something from many popular females in music, and that's incredible. There are many fans who've never really heard that before, and a whole generation of kids who've never listened to these old, honestly proto-punk kind of people like Debbie Harry and Blondie. And there's an attitude that women had back then that was new. They weren't allowed to have this kind of attitude. So Miley kind of pushing it, taking it, it's fantastic, but it's been done before. The issue is that a lot of this can end up being pretty derivative. It doesn't really expand the genre. It doesn't really expand music. It just kind of takes ideas from the past and just kind of pays homage to them, which is great, but it doesn't really expand very far. Whether you want to call Billie a pop star or not, that's absolutely up for debate. But she is the face of a generation right now, and we needed that. Clearly, she is extremely unique and a culmination of a lot of the feelings that Gen Z feels. We are tackling mental health in a way that has never actually happened to us before. We are reaching adulthood in this time where we've been through like 5 economic crises that were supposed to be once in a lifetime. We've experienced so much hate and violence and just so many issues that to us doesn't really make sense. We grew up realizing that there are other ways of living and stuff like that, and tackling mental illness. It's in a lot of music these days, which is fantastic, but she is tackling it in a way that these young people in Gen Z relate to, that is just so much more powerful than what people have done in the past. For a second, I want to talk about the uniqueness. Her look, the visuals, the mindset, the instrumentation, just everything that they have, her and Phineas and their family and everybody involved, but mainly Billie, they have all created this world that is her. Everything is their own conceptualized world that is from her mind. When you look at the documentary and you see the drawings in her sketchbooks, this is all so creatively done And it's all just an inside look at what's going on in her mind, and she is incredible at being able to put that on paper. I don't know about you guys, but writing lyrics and coming up with concepts for albums, it's extremely hard. It's extremely hard to have this thing that's in your head and put it down on paper, something tangible that someone can look at or read or consume. It is extremely hard, but Billie can do this in a way that is so unique, so efficient, and just good. All of this was a unique and experimental direction that music really needed to go in. There were lots of recycled themes with 2010s bands and artists just copying people of the past. This is completely original. There is nobody like this. It's inspiring other people, peers, everybody in this music trend right now, in this popular music. They're all taking cues from this, and she may not be the one who invented all of this, but she deserves her credit. The younger audiences stan her, for lack of a better word. She has these crazy stans that just are so consumed with her ideas of things, and to be able to garner that kind of support from such a young audience means a lot. Kids can smell bullshit. Lots of the younger audiences these days, they drift towards the rap or the emo rap or things like that because it really connects with them and how they're feeling at this awful part of their lives. I mean, high school is awful. Middle school is awful. We're living through terrible times. We have pandemic. We have economic downturns. It's a horrible time to be a young person. It's horrible. We can't even afford to move out anywhere. These younger people can relate to her lyrics regarding love, heartbreak, loss, wanting to kill yourself, maybe having thoughts that you need to get out, but it's not an action that you're really going to go towards. And even if you do, maybe just relating to somebody can help you through that. When someone makes a song about wanting to die or maybe I should end it all, that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to do that, but getting it out in that way may be the thing that stops you from doing that. That may have been what stopped Billie from doing things to herself or going through things alone. There's an audience that feels the same way, that questions the same things. And how can you not in the current world we live in? What's really important is that she normalizes being sad, being not okay. Because as generic as it can sound, it's okay to not be okay. That is one of the biggest themes that you can take away from any of her music. This is okay. We can find the resources. We can work on things. We can be creative. It's okay to be going through something and finding a positive outlet for that. To find that kind of substance and that kind of relatability in top 40 music it's not very popular. That concept turns a lot of people off. Lots of people listen to what's popular to be happy. So people finding that within the realm of popular music is just incredible. It's good for society. It's good for people to understand this. It's okay to normalize these things, as they should be. Billie is the face of this type of issue that you can be proud to show your kids. You can be proud to show your daughter what you can do if you take all that you have within you, get it out in an artistic way. She just put it down, conceived it, and then worked extremely hard and was able to create a life for herself. This new direction with the topic of music and health, this is a new direction that is nuanced, it's different. There's other artists that have done this, but she is pushing pop music in a direction that's good. It's different, it's experimental, it's challenging the status quo. This is a good thing. I think a huge reason that people feel really connected to her, there is a hip-hop instrumental with the beats and the drums and the way the hi-hats are and everything. That's extremely popular right now. People want to hear those kind of drums, that type of percussion, that setup. But then there's also these deep, deep harmonies. The way that Phineas and her have created these voices and pitching things, doing 20 layers of harmonies. There is a choir approach to this. This is classical stuff. This is what people fail to see. There is a classical element in what she is creating that people just get too caught up with thinking about her looks, her gender, how she wears her clothes. Who cares? Who cares? The hi-hats, the triplets, all that different stuff with these harmonies and these beautiful pianos and choruses and layers and layers and layers. Each song probably has like 70 layered tracks. Gen Z is starting to bring an approach to music where a genre doesn't matter. Genres do not matter, and they are blending the way that we look at music, and that makes lots of people uncomfortable. But in all honesty, it's expanding the boundaries of music. The way that she sings is so intimate and close, it feels like she is singing just for you. And that is probably part of her goal. She wants the listener to know they're not alone. You're feeling the same things. We're all people feeling these feelings, and sometimes it's pretty cathartic to let yourself feel that. When you listen to a song like I Don't Want to Be You Anymore, it's not off the newest album, but when you listen to something like that, that is a lyric that can really throw people off. But when you really think about it and spend some time reflecting and thinking about what that means, we've all felt this way. We've all looked in the mirror and realized, well, maybe I wanted to be someone else. And it's extremely important to realize that feeling that way is not wrong. It is normal to feel that way. And there is an entire generation of kids that feel this way, but now they have someone who put it in a song format. Parents might be turned off by that. Parents are also out of touch with how they probably felt at that age. It's pretty simple. We live in an age where we can open up our phone and compare ourselves to millions of people and never be happy. We'll never feel like we're enough. She is very vocal about expressing that she wants to be there for these people, and this music, this intimate, conceived thought, can be there for somebody when they're feeling this way. This music is a gateway to people's guidance to dealing with things. When you think of other top 40 musicians or other people in similar veins, they are talking about similar things, but she is following up with it. She is being there for those fans. She is giving them what they want, an inside look into their life. She is giving every opportunity for a fan to feel like Billie is their friend. But she is there for them, and this is all such a positive thing, but lots of people don't let it become positive because she dresses weird, or she dyes her hair, or she looks like something they don't approve of. There is a larger thing here that's much more important. Music should tackle feelings like not being comfortable with yourself. Not to mention the fact that this is all inspiring on top of cathartic. They created this album in their parents' house, something we all dream of doing, to show people that they can become what they want if they push through and work towards a goal that they have. This is going to inspire an entire generation of kids that think, I want to do that. I want to sit in my house and create an album that's going to save my life and maybe other people's lives. This can be what I can do. Many people can be musicians if they really step up and do it. That's all it takes, is just doing it. There will be people creating beautiful art with the money that they saved up from working lame jobs that will probably end up just inspiring the art that they're making anyways. This is a pivotal change in music. Anybody can make it. Anybody can do it. There are platforms where you can upload all of this for free. Next, I want to talk about Phineas. He is the sound behind Billie. I'm the same age as Phineas. When I look at what he's done and the skills that he has, I definitely realize that I need to get it together. I need to learn more, I need to get better, and that is an incredible inspiration. If people like Phineas didn't exist, I probably just wouldn't pursue things as hard as I would. Anybody can relate to either of them, and this is extremely important. We want to know that we can be those stars. Back in the day, rock stars were rock stars. They were untouchable. Now we know that celebrities are just us. The way they build and produce songs, but then add something like an RPG explosion in it, this is extremely creative, and music should go this way in a popular format. Another thing to point out, what producer is as famous as him? He is with her at all times. Producers getting this kind of credit is huge. This is game changing. They deserve the credit. It's extremely hard to do this. Lots of people can sing, lots of people can perform, but who can create all this, make it listenable, and bring these visions to life? His talent is awe-inspiring, and everybody can learn from what you can do at home and what you can teach yourself. It's extremely important to do things yourself. Figure them out. If you don't have access to certain things, if you have the internet and you have YouTube, you can learn theory. You can learn production. You can learn recording. You can do all of this. To have such inspiring people be doing the same thing, it shows you can get it done. People get really uncomfortable with Billie. I was watching the Grammys, the one where she swept everything after the new album came out. I was watching it with an older friend of a family member, and he was in the room, and he was a almost a 60-year-old white guy. He would not stop criticizing her. She was sweeping every award, and he was rolling his eyes, oh, here she gets another one. And she is a young woman who men like that don't really like to see do well. And I remember being a fan of her at the time, but just kind of watching him and his disgust about this, and just kind of being like, wow, I actually kind of really like that. I like that she is making people like him upset. It's good. This is a good thing. Sorry that her music isn't the same old AC/DC song like, yo, woo, rock and roll, baby, yeah! That formula's there, and rock stars exist, and classic rock exists for a reason, and it's amazing, and it needs to be where it's at. But there are lots of people who didn't move on from that and can't accept these new norms of women who look different succeeding and sweeping the Grammys. And watching that person get so upset about it was amazing. I was like, I was already a fan, but that took it to a new level. I was like, oh my God, she's pissing off boomers who are criticizing her every move. If they listen to the song like I Love You and listen to the melodies, and it sounds like a choir, it sounds like it's a heartbreaking song with beautiful melodies and her literally pouring her heart out on this track. Phineas harmonizing with her. This is a classic idea of music. This is something that older folks can get on with, but they are so turned off by the visuals that they won't even hear it. Maybe instead of judging her appearance and how she talks and how she goes about her life, and they focused on that, they would find value in it. They would find that they actually relate with this a lot more than they originally thought. And people need to challenge themselves and their preconceived notions. They might be able to appreciate the soon-to-be classic art that she is making. People are going to look back at these two albums, specifically When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? People are going to look at that and realize that is a classic album. You'll be able to find that everywhere in 20 years from now because it is pivotal. Billie Eilish is taking over the world, selling out arenas, making a documentary on Apple. She is dominating the world, and she should be. And you should know that. You should appreciate it, and you should use that to find music that you may not normally like. You don't like that music? Take that album and consciously listen to it a few times through. If it takes effort, it might be better than you realize. Please let me know what you think of the breakdown. Please let me know if you think that this is something that people should know about, if this is something that people should understand and give a conscious effort towards understanding. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you on the next one.